Welcome back to another episode of the one and only Wood Couture Podcast. Today we have an award-winning superstar, not a designer, superstar, the one and the very only Hen'a Yadav. Welcome to the show, Hen'a.
Oh my, what an introduction. I need to live up to this. Thank you, Filippo. I'm really
this is just the beginning, So lovely to have you. For all our friends of the Wood Couture Podcast that do not know Hen'a, you will have a full deep dive immersion in a minute. But above all, she has 17 years experience across the globe, truly, from Bombay to Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, LA, and now in our beloved London. So here we go. Let's discover everything about Hen'a. Hen'a, the curiosity is huge. Your journey, where it all started.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to make it really quite concise because it's so long. I get lost sometimes. But let's just clip into the big parts. I was born in Bombay, India. And then I moved straight away to Kathmandu, Nepal, where I really grew up. My father was in the fashion world, so he really kept moving around. And then we went to Dubai, which is where I spent a lot of my formative years and, really got to know the Arabic culture and all of that. Right after that, I decided to go to Switzerland, Basel, to study art. I thought I want to be an artist, really express myself, because creativity and the world of glamour and lifestyle has always been an alluring for me, something I've been drawn to. But I thought about how do I make this happen into an interior design world? So I went to Montreal, all the way across to Montreal, Canada, and I studied interior design and really took that aspect seriously as a career point, And it was wonderful. Right after being in Montreal, I came back to Dubai, where my first projects were with these royal palaces. So it was really incredible. For a young girl, I was almost starstruck, seeing these opulence, these large spaces, materials. There were no boundaries, and it was incredible. It was just where I wanted to be, and I was so happy I'd found what I wanted. That's where the journey kicked off, and before I knew it, I was in the hold of hospitality, which I loved, because obviously having palaces is fun, but they are quite, the exposure is little. It's just for family members. But hotels, well, you got the entire public, you can make a statement, you can do something, So that's where the career kicked off. I got married, moved to Hong Kong, Singapore, LA, and like you said, here I am in London.
Wow. That's a journey, qualifies for an ambassador program for Emirates, with those air miles, incredible. At what point in life you said, obviously, you went to Basel, you study art, so clear you are an artist, fashion business, so creativity, style, is in your blood, is in your family DNA. At what point you decided interior architecture is my industry?
Oh, the clarity came a little later in my life. I think I was always drawn to glamour. Like I said, I was surrounded by fashion designers, models, these incredible people that would come to our house for dinner, and I always looked at them, and I always was, I admired how wonderful their lifestyle was, and I didn't realize it was the lifestyle aspect that drew me more than anything else. And so I just pursued it thinking it was fashion, it was, art and all of that, and continued to do a lot of that creative work. It was when I got to Switzerland and I saw that crazy paradox of contrast between the lifestyles of Nepal, Dubai, and then Switzerland, is when it struck me that it's our environments, it's the spaces we're in. It's all of that really makes our lifestyles come to life. And that's when I knew I wanted to really get into interior design. I think it was about 18 or something like that when I said, all right, let's do it. And I applied to Montreal. I wanted to go somewhere where there was bigger exposure. There was a nice mix of Europe and North America. And I love that diversity. So that's where it happened.
Obviously, now you are principal at Studio Carter in London, before in LA, and you work for giants, in your life. Your resume is as long as a piece of string, it's and it's brilliant. And through your journey, has there been somebody that you say, what, that person for me, it was a mentor?
Yes. I could name them. I have their voices still in my head, I have to say. The biggest mentors that happened to me was when I was in Asia, obviously, because I was really getting, formative in my thinking. But my first mentor was Werner Van Hele from Krenner International. Incredible man. Oh, he trusted me. He saw me. He gave me so much confidence. He took me to Belgium as well. He was the first one. And after that, it was in Hong Kong with Ed and Terence Nung from AB Concept. They showed me a completely different world of hospitality. Their detailing, their attention to, creating that experience was just, I still have it. And then I got to work with H.L. Lim and Sue Seam, and you know how they are. I mean, their planning and their articulation and their journeys, it was incredible. And of course, I can't ever not mention Isabel Pintado. I mean, she's still my mentor. I still call her up and I say, listen, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And she's so gracious. She still guides me. So
the one and only Isabel, our very good friend, now for season. And what the best advice that these people give you? They're still with you.
I think it's not the advice that they've particularly given me. It's the way they've thought about things that I've kind of absorbed. I'm kind of like a sponge. I work through osmosis, and when I'm around someone and I like something about them, I just automatically become that. So there are bits and pieces of the way they were thinking, the way they approached design, the way they lived, the way they, led a team, the way they had this vision, their clarity. I think all of that, it's just with me all the time.
Wow, that's man, I can see the passion, coming out from everywhere. It's just incredible. But I'm curious, what you do when you lose focus? What's your routine when you need to try to regain your focus?
I think I'll be honest, the most integral part of my life is my Buddhist practice. I became a Buddhist when I was 21. I mean, most people turn to drugs and all of that. I turned to Buddhism. I can't explain that. It's just...
It's a better way and a cheaper way too.
I think so. It's what I was drawn to. It's that whole thing again, coming back to lifestyle. What makes us happy? What is sustainable? And having this Buddhist practice has grounded me in so many ways. And I've been doing it for, more than 18 years now,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my discipline. That's my rock, a project. When I start, I really channel it through that energy. I bring positivity. I try to really be open to other people's point of views. Because I've lived in so many places, I understand that it's, you've got to respect someone else's perspective, right? I try to really keep my lifestyle exposed, and I try to really, when I travel, I try to absorb all of these things, but I always come back to my practice. And it's morning and evening. There's a point of meditation. There's this element that we do. And that's my grounding factor.
Is your spirituality reflected in your design style?
Currently, I see it getting reflective. I'll tell you why. And it's so amazing you asked me this, because I've finally reached that point where I can see it manifesting. And how is that happening is through sustainability. And we did this incredible exhibition for Hicks in London, and we did a joint venture with Nestwell and Moti Eskau. He's just a fantastic man who came up with these 12 symbiotic principles that can really enhance your being. And we did a room which would be the future of a guest room. And that's where I knew this is how I bring my Buddhist philosophy into life, where you really can bring tangible, meaningful changes in the design world that can enhance your well-being mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Wow. I was very intrigued about the way you define yourself in an interview. And your quote was, "I am a visual storyteller with an eye for aesthetics." That's incredible. Tell me a bit more about that.
So I've always been drawn to images. I've got a photographic memory, and that's something I've depended on many times, And for me, as designers, we're very visual people. We don't like to read. I don't think people in our industry have time to read. I personally do enjoy reading. But it's the visuals that can give you a story in a second. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. It's an essence. Words can't capture it. Do you know what I mean? There's an energy system in an image that you get it right away, So for me, when I do my presentations, when I tell the concept, I am so pedantic about every image and how it's speaking and talking to each other. So the guest, the client, the operator can really pick up on that energy without having to say too much. I think less is more, silence is better sometimes, so I let these images be my voice. And that's why I call myself a visual storyteller.
Wow. And how is your style? How do you approach each job? And the reason I'm asking you this is because I loved another of your quote, because I read a lot about you. So the only time I do read is this time is about you. And you said, I am a conductor of a hand-picked orchestra. And so intrigues me to ask you, about how is your style and approach to each job?
Well, conceptually, what we do, the process is the same, but every job is treated very differently. And it really depends on the operator and the client and that dynamic. So I really keep that in mind, the sense of place, the culture, the demographic, and bring that and make sure that the design is designed forward. The last thing we want to be is something that's dated. My approach to design is to give authenticity, genuine, authentic, good design in terms of detailing, the fact that it can last for a long time, sustainable aspect, what's happening in building this, the thought process of it, and really combining a lifestyle that the guests will forever remember. And that can happen with very small things. And I don't know if you relate, but whenever you go to a hotel, you always try to reenact an habit that you have at home, right?
True.
I mean, for me, it's taking a bath before I go to bed. I like that warm shower, and if I can get that in a hotel room, I feel like I'm taken care of. I'll remember that space. I mean, I don't know what it is that you like to do. Maybe you like to have a glass of bourbon, but I would love to hear what it is that you do.
Another time in a different podcast.
All right. Well, I like to
it's
listen.
about you today.
Fair enough. I like to listen, and that's why I'm always curious. And so, when I'm meeting clients, when I'm meeting people, I'm asking them because I want to know, the more I know, the more I can cater for in those rooms. But coming back to your question about feeling a conductor, yes. So as you know, we're a global team. We have different time zones. I don't know what I'd do without my Time Buddy app. Honestly, I don't know where I'm talking to who. We've got people in Spain, Portugal, Australia, Shanghai, Singapore, LA, London, so, and Dubai as well. So for me, it's literally like you've got to almost have like a bird's eye view and just kind of play it down here and then bring that here, take that information, join, connect the dots, pass it on, and then it comes back, and then again, pass it on and comes back. So it's literally like creating music, but we've got to keep everyone informed. We've got to keep that rhythm of information going. So it almost feels like we're working 24 hours a day, which is amazing.
It's interesting because in your narrative, I feel sustainability is deeply rooted because you mentioned it many times. My question to you is the hospitality industry doing enough for sustainability?
No, but I can see a lot of things happening. I mean, these things take time, but I can see the seed growing in so many operators' minds and so many designers, architects. I can see the dialogue really happening, and it's no longer just lip service, Filippo. It's genuine, and small things can make that difference. And right now Robin and I were chatting one day, and we found out that there are so many incredible materials that haven't been tapped into. And one of them is hemp. Hemp is an incredible material that also has biophilic properties. So when you want to have greenery in your room, yes, we do that because obviously it absorbs carbon dioxide and it's purifying the air. And there's so many benefits, but hemp does the same. So, we just haven't gone there and we haven't looked deep enough. But I think the industry is really picking up on it. And I can see a lot of positive changes happening.
Some of your industry colleagues that we have interviewed, shocked me because they said, hey, in the last 2 years, no client have asked us to consider sustainability as part of their design brief. Is that the case today for you?
No, our clients are very concerned.
Wow.
Especially, yeah, absolutely. And the more we bring that to front, the more they're appreciative of us, the recycled objects. We did this beautiful hotel, the Kimpton Sanya, and we came up with this idea of taking all the plastics that are on the ocean and creating a sculpture through it in every room. They
Wow.
loved it. They loved it, Filippo. They were
Beautiful.
the operator was so supportive, you know. So it's these small things that we do. And then, you know, there's this other hotel we did where, you know, in China, they're not doing amenities in your room anymore. So we came up with the idea of having this sort of a discovery bar, where imagine when you come into a lobby and you go into a corner and you can pick your scent, your shampoo, your conditioner in your little glass bottles, take it to your room. You know, you want a bamboo toothbrush, you know, done with recycled paper. Take that to your room if you need it. If you don't waste it. And there's another element of that lifestyle brought in and really support sustainability in a quiet way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And on the same token of sustainability, which obviously, again, you know, I mean, I feel the way you talk that you guys actually are proactively seeking, you know, to incorporate that because it is in your DNA. You know, you feel when somebody is passionate about something, and your passion is coming out everywhere. It's incredible. But I never see somebody that talk about sustainability without asking, and you did actually. And I have to be honest, you know, I mean, I always have to ask the question, but you spoke about sustainability, you know, starting from your spirituality and going to your design style and everything, which is incredible. It's refreshing, yeah. That's how I define it. It's refreshing. And tell me, look, you work from palaces to lifestyle hotels, you know, I mean, all over the world. And is there a project that, you know, sticks in your mind for whatever reasons? You know, I'm not going to ask you your favorite because I think for somebody with 17 years career, you know, you got so probably many favorites. But is there a project that sticks in your mind? And give me the reason why.
Yeah, that's a really tough one because every project's so special and so sacred to me. But I'm really looking forward to the one opening up this year. You know, we're opening up Mondrian, Singapore, and it's going to be a beautiful benchmark hotel, and we're very proud of it. The operator, you know, Mark Ecott's just fantastic to work with. Great team, the client, you know, the project management, the consultants, everyone's been so professional, and they're all so cohesive in the thinking and making something beautiful. And the mock-up room turned out beautiful, so we're really looking forward to that. Besides that, there's so many others that are opening up. Kimpton Shanghai is one of them that's opening up soon, and we can't wait to show that. It's got really beautiful things. So I'm just looking forward to all these projects coming to life so people can really experience, you know, Studio Carter's essence, is what I would say.
It's obviously with that experience in Singapore and then Shanghai, and all the other places you worked, and hospitality in particular. My question to you is, you know, I mean, what is the issue nowadays in designing hospitality product, particularly lifestyle level?
Budgets.
Oh, hey, you dropped the bomb at the very beginning. Yeah, I love that.
It's the truth. It's the budgets. People are conscious. The COVID has done a lot of things. And lately, it's obviously made people question everything. There's been a turn in the economy. Currently, I see budget as being a huge sort of challenge, you know, because we want to use the best things. We want to do the best details, but it obviously costs a little bit more. We want to use those fine designers, fine contractors, you know, and that's when you achieve something beautiful, when everybody is at that level. Even if one drops, you can see it, you can feel it. You know, the essence is kind of tapped away. So yeah, for me, the struggle is budgets. But of course, I know a lot of companies are coming up with beautiful materials that, you know, don't need to really, you know, break your bank. So it's really evolving. You know, problems come and you find solutions, and there's the demand, and then suppliers start to emerge and the prices start to go low. So, you know, it's a chain effect. It's like a domino. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to, you know, fight this. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way as well.
For us, it's you know, we're bespoke manufacturers, so you know we make what people want. But for you as an artist, because deep inside you guys are artists, you know, I mean, you are born with that touch, and I'm always wondering, how does people like yourself, you know, design a superstar feel when you present a masterpiece And then guess what? Another guy sitting in front of you said, value engineering. How does it make you feel?
I don't know, like 7 years ago when somebody said VE to me, I would feel a bit of disappointment, but it's not the same anymore. I don't feel the disappointment. I feel challenged. It's important to give the client what they want. There is a budget, and I get that. I almost feel like it challenges me even more. And, that's when creativity grows, when you're put into a little corner. And we've come up with some incredible solutions by lowering the price and yet achieving something beautiful. Because that's what we're here for, right? They're trusting our creativity. And if creativity is bound to something, then you're not really being creative. So I really look at VE in a different way now, and I think it can be achieved. I think details can be simplified, but of course you can still keep that level. What I'm saying is you can't keep a detail the same and expect to VE it. I'm saying you've got to look at the root of it and change that to make it work. Because you can't just go, oh, leather, let's make it faux leather. That's not VE to me. It's about looking, does it really need to be leather? What about a fabric? What about some microfiber? What about something else? What about a bit of texture? Like, go back, look at the root and see how you can really still make that piece a hero as it was. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I think it's a different approach.
You just tell the truth. That's the fact. You just said it. There's no VE. There is no value engineering. There is change.
There's no value there.
Yeah, there's
Where's
no
the value?
value.
Please tell me.
But my question is, but isn't design personal? It must be personal. You spend hours, putting together the story, investigating materials, inspiration, and in your mind, putting together that, and then Joe Blogs comes around and drop the axe. There must be a degree of your body that get upset and it must be a personal matter, design.
Of course, it's a huge hit on the ego, isn't it? You feel so like shaken for a minute, but if you really come back to it and think of it, really, is it about you? Is it you did a beautiful thing, you're happy, a creative person is happy creating. If your creativity is linked to being applauded, then I think there's a problem in the way you're set up mentally. I'm not looking for validation when I present. I'm looking to show the best that I can give to you as a client. Now, if I didn't achieve that, then I got to go back and I got to, kind of like pet my ego a little bit and figure it out internally, and then come back with more and come back with something. Of course, it's a conflict. Of course, it's hard. And that's the life of a designer. The inner life is full of conflict. There's so many voices. There's so many things you've got to manage, and on top of that, you've got a client who's expecting you to listen. So, you've got to sort of like really find this fine balance between what you take away, what you add, what you keep, what you feel is right for this space. And sometimes it's really about educating the client. There's so many times we've come back, tweaked one thing and sold the same idea, and they love it. Honestly, because they are able to see it. Their lenses are down, their guards are down. They know they've been heard. And then the design feels more acceptable to them. So yeah, I think it's hard. It's not the easiest journey, I have to say. The ego of a designer is something that I could talk on for years.
Is there something that you will never compromise?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I mean, for me, I really believe in the details. If you're going to strip away the genuine details of a room, like even if I'm just saying, give me a shadow gap, and you take that away and the joints are not right, I can't compromise that. Ceiling details and certain furniture details, the stability of things, you can't take that away. Or not using tempered glass, the integrity of safety, the integrity of materials. No, there's no compromise there. We won't change it. It's not possible.
Wow, that's the real philosophy of Studio Carter is coming out. Details. The devil is in the details, right?
It really is. It really is. It's
Wow.
really what you see and what you feel. Yeah.
The big topic in the world right now is gender equality. How does it feel to be a woman in the design industry?
Well, I have to say it's changed so much over 18, 17 years. When I first started, it was impossible for a woman to be in the room and present. I mean, there's no way. It was difficult at times to accept it, and it really made it, it was a pinch on your soul, you did the work and a man took it and presented it because then it sounded a bit more intelligent or more creative. But over the years, I think women have done so much to change the perspective of the design world. I mean, look at Zaha Hadid. I mean, I bow to her, what she's done for female architects. Interior design is nothing compared to what female architects have gone through. They won't even be heard. But it's because of people like her. It's because of certain female designers that have really revolutionized men's thinking about, females. And today I see most females as top and heads of interior design firms, and they're extremely accepted. Men completely respect that. And I really feel the change. I mean, I've seen the change, So it's been positive.
It's an interesting topic because apart from gender, obviously there is all sort of inequalities, and but I always say that it is more a man problem than a woman problem, because we fail to let our peers, our male counterparts, creating a problem. So it's the men that fail, not the women, in my opinion.
Wow, it's so refreshing to hear a man say that. See what I mean? I mean? I'm completely right. Look at today. Look at you acknowledging that. I mean, that is bravo to you. Honestly, it's true. But I understand. I mean, the man, let's go back to the old days, the cave days. The man is, he's the breadwinner. We have that. I'm sure maybe we have a portion of that in our DNA. Still, women has to be at home, bearing babies. That intrinsic aspect of human life. Maybe it's still alive in some of us. Maybe that's what speaks.
I think it's beautiful recognizing that we're all different, but we need to find what unified us.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing. And let me ask you, you have Mark Krak, beautiful book, Enigmas of a Change, the autobiography. What is so special about this book?
Well, it's a creative journey, and I'm intrigued by people's creative journey, and this one especially because, the way it's been written, the journey that the person's taken, it really hits you. Well, it really hit me, and it really opened up my own reflections of who I am as a creative person. And you know what? You've got to be really brutal and honest with yourself when you read autobiographies. You've got to be a person who can really do some self-reflection to see if you're being a good mentor, if you're being a good leader, are you really creating value? Are you really doing the best of who you can be? Or are you getting sucked by so many other factors that, that can really pull us in different directions? And so I really recommend that book.
So what would be the title of your autobiography?
Oh my, I have to write it, shouldn't I? I mean, I'm sure it will have something about a Buddhist perspective on design, designing through a silent era, something like about listening to your inner voices, your inner life being designed, it would be on those realms, because I genuinely believe the best ideas come out when you're in silence. For me, the best ideas come out, and Robin always laughs about it, is when I take a shower. I don't know, I find like it's just all, I'm just kind of stop thinking. I'm just there enjoying the water and there it is,
So, but out of curiosity, I don't know whether you have tiles or glasses and you get foggy. Do you actually draw on the fog in your shower? Or?
Sometimes. I mean, that's a really good. I mean, I just get the picture. It's like all the dots connect, and I just feel like, where did that come from? I'm not consciously thinking of it, but there it is. And in a second, I come back, I draw it up, and I send it, and it makes sense and it works because something's happening in your subconscious mind. You've marinated yourself in the idea, in the space, in the images, in the brief from the operator. All these conversations are happening. And in the shower, you're in this moment of calm, and bam, it connects, and and there you have it. And so I think I would love to talk about that. And there was this artist, you know, when I was in Basel, she taught me something about art and drawing. You know, she said our minds take over, and that's where the problem is. And so she put an apple in front of me, and I tried to draw it. And I drew an apple from my mind. It looked nothing like the apple on the table. Then she turned the apple around, and I drew it. And my mind didn't recognize the image of the apple that it had. And I drew the perfect apple, because now I was just focused on the curves. I wasn't thinking apple. I was just thinking this object, the curve here. You know, it's just about tricking ourselves. And I drew it. And it was such an important lesson to me. You should try it. Draw something upside down, or you'll be baffled at your own creative skill.
If somebody put an apple in front of me, first thing I do, I'm going to bite it. This is my problem. You know, I mean, I can't stop eating. So I can never be an artist of that kind of stuff, you know. So I'm terrible. I'm not artistic. I'm more scientific, unfortunately. So I'm gonna stay in my humble position and be led by you guys, you know, that on that front. On numbers, I can have my debates, but in another interview, when they told you, hey, if tomorrow you win a lottery and you get $10 million, what would you do? I was fascinated, but beyond fascinated by your answer. Set up my own lifestyle hospitality brand for hotels. Wow. With all the things you could do, $10 million, you bang on in our industry. Where this burning desire of creating your own lifestyle brand come from?
Oh my God, I've spent 18 years doing this. Why would I let it go? I don't want to change anything. This is what I want to do. I know this is my calling. And having all that money, I would fund and I would create and work with, you know, fantastic contractors and designers and artists and operators, minds, and we would all come together and create this, I don't know, maybe it's an utopian version of a hotel, but like the future of a hotel where it would imbibe, you know, I don't know, Soho House meets Park Hyatt meets, you know, Mondrian's essence with Six Senses flair. I don't know. It would be this really great place where you would have a community vibe, where you would have that bespoke luxury, where you would be able to tap into your own tailored lifestyle, where you'd have blowouts in your hair, where you'd have customized sushi made for you. I don't know. I mean, it could be endless to what we could do, but it would be a dream to have this brand that really resonates with the human mind and philosophy and who we are, you know. It's really centered and focused on well-being, you know what I mean? That would be my fantasy, honestly.
Do you think there is something missing within the lifestyle hotel brands? If you want to create your own, it means there is something missing somewhere.
I mean, there's, you know, we're humans. We have so many different needs. How can you fulfill each human stick at this planet? Of course, there are incredible hotels existing. Of course, there's beauty that we can tap into, but there's always space for more, right? I mean, I think we're all evolving and our needs are changing. So I don't think there's a gap, but I think there's always an opportunity for more.
What would you call it?
Wow, I don't know. I mean, that's a really tough one. What would I call it?
How will your name be a commercial name like glamour, or would it be something more spiritual? You know, a name that means something.
I think it would have nothing to do with me, but with an essence. It would be something that I'm close to, like something to do with, like I love the name Mama Shelter. Like I feel it with the name. You know, it's so personal. It would be something that tells the story immediately, that gives you that emotion immediately. I don't know what that would be. I think it would take a lot of minds to come together to create that name. But if I get that money, you know where I'll be.
In your career, have you ever refused to do something? They say, no, I'm not going to do it.
No, I have not done that. I haven't said, no, I won't do that.
Ever find a client that, you know, I mean, the brief was like, you know what? Not worth it. Our talent.
Oh my, no, I don't see that kind of thought process in my head. I've never felt that superior to anything. No, that would not resonate with me. I would give it a shot. Yeah, I would give it a shot,
Wow.
whatever it is. Even if it's I mean, anything. I think there's potential in every project. I would never really turn anything down like that.
That's interesting. You have a very good karma.
Okay, I love that.
Obviously, I've got a curiosity because you were born in India, right? Raised, let's say, then Kathmandu, then you go to Basel, then you live in Asia. Across all these continent, places, and city, you go from this philosophy like Vastu Shastra, Feng Shui, you know what I mean? And have you ever been involved in designing this kind of philosophy within your experience?
That's a really good question, and it's funny why I haven't embodied that. There were times when I was reading on it. The thing is, when I lived in India, I never really lived in India, to be honest. I was just born there. My blood is Indian. I like Indian food. I speak the language a little bit. People laugh when I do. Do I qualify for someone who would be a Vastu person? No, I don't think so. It wouldn't be authentically me.
Okay.
When I went to Nepal, I was embedded in Buddhist philosophy and spirituality, from a very young age. And I felt more drawn to that as a person and the creative process. Do I bring that into my projects? Yes. Feng Shui, again, it doesn't feel authentic to me. But if somebody asked me to work with a Feng Shui master and create a space, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. If that's what's going to enhance that person's lifestyle and that space, I would definitely welcome that idea. But I try to do things that are authentic to me. And to me, what's authentic is my Buddhist philosophy and, the fact that, and there's one statement that I think will, if you really think about it, it will really bring a lot of questions in your mind. And the statement is, our environments are mirrors of our inner lives. And you really get to see everything that you're hiding from by looking at your environment. When you walk down the street, what you don't like, what you react to, when you sit in a place, what you feel good about, it's all showing who you are. So for me, that's been my grounding factor in designing my spaces.
Yeah. I'm going to touch the penultimate question. It's very structured now. Normally it's unscripted, but today I feel to put a bit of structure because I can stay here forever with you. But Jacob Bronowski, progress is the exploration of our own error. That's one of your favorite sentences. What's your favorite failure?
I think my favorite failure was, I have so many. I have so many failures.
Pick one that really shaped you.
I think it was, is it a project or is it an experience?
It's about Hen'a. It's up to you. It's there must be a mistake. They say,
Yeah, there's one that really sticks out. It was when I was, starting off in my career. And I was fighting, I was in Dubai. And back then it was very difficult for a girl like me, a brown girl, to be acknowledged as someone who could bring beautiful design. My ethnicity, where I come from, was not a perfect mix of what a good designer should be like or look like or, behave like. And I took that so painfully when I was told to step back because of where I come from. I think that hurt me a lot. And it really is a regret because I should have fought it. Do you know what I mean? That's my biggest regret. I should have fought it because it was one person's opinion. And I took it to be like, that's how the world thinks. And it's not. I've been proven that through so many aspects and journeys of my life. But that was it was a big failing on my part to take it and walk away and let someone else, enjoy what I had put together and then just accept that as being my fate. I think that's wrong.
It's I like the way you introduce yourself. Me, brown girl. What that means, I don't know, but it's very interesting. Me, brown girl. I love that. So me, the Mediterranean, I'm an olive guy. I'm gonna start growing branches, Yeah. I love that. It's incredible. It's fascinating. I really, sometimes I would love, I always say sometimes I would love to see from the eyes of somebody that discriminate, to see what they see, because I'm totally blind on that.
That's so amazing. It's so amazing to hear. But I've been through a lot of racism living in different parts of the world. I've never really fitted in. In fact, when I go back to India as well, I feel discriminated. It's always been part of my journey. And I've just come to stay authentic. This is who I am. If it doesn't fit in one of your boxes, I'm really sorry. But this is what it is. This is a person, and that's it. That's all you can do. You can't apologize for who you are.
So here's your chance. The biggest and the largest white canvas on top of the Burj Khalifa. What message would you write on that?
Never stop dreaming. Never.
Oh man, I love that.
Never.
I love that.
Right? Like, it's in our minds. We can dream and be anywhere. Why would anyone stop doing that?
One thing I'm going to ask you guys, you and Robin, I said, I'm going to go back, be a student, and come be an intern at Studio Carter, because the two persons I interview from you guys is you and Robin. And Robin's answer was, do something outrageous. And you never stop dreaming. Jesus Christ. The Studio Carter is on fire. I love it. The spirit in your office must be great. And I really hope clients take you on, because I think above all, they're going to have fun working with you guys.
Wonderful. Thanks, Filippo. Really lovely talking to you. This has been so great. It's like I've also heard my own thoughts, through the process.
No, I really thank you, because not only was talking, I think you inspired us. And that lovely brown girl, we're going to see you in London. Thank you very much for
I can't wait.
being our show. Thank you.